Welcome to another episode of I Learn Dota and you watch it, maybe, hopefully. Okay, so today we're going to take a look at OpTic versus Serenity, and specifically the Storm Spirit play from CCnC. This is going to be in the lower bracket of TI8 in the second round, I believe. This is best of 3, but only going to take a look at the first game. More importantly, we're only going to take a look at the first about 10 minutes. Taking a quick look at the draft, we see that Storm's got a pretty good game here. He's got a silencer that he has to worry about, and the chains from Ember, but aside from that, he shouldn't have too much trouble dodging Marana Arrow or the Elder Titan Stomp. The mid matchup of Ember versus Storm is pretty even. It's mostly a skill matchup, meaning that it's just going to come down to who plays better and who gets more help in that particular matchup. There's very infrequently going to be wide swings, especially considering that both Ember and Storm are going to need to hit 6 before they really can fight and kill someone in a one-on-one without a massive outplay. The advantage is taken without any issues, so we'll jump right into the first wave. As usual versus melee hero, Storm has a big power spike at level 2 and he can harass the enemy mid laner out of lane before they have enough levels to shove waves with skills or a bottle to HP sustain by using his static remnant and overload. Instead of CCnC breaking Ember's shield right away, as he could with Remnant plus Overload, instead he's just stepping away and making sure that Ember is forcing the wave out and putting himself in a position where he's safe to get last hit. So as you can see, he's going to pull the wave back up onto the ramp and just continue to last it into the tower safely. A lot of the early rotations that are possible from Serenity can just be dodged by Storm playing safe. CCnC is also putting himself in a position where if Ember tries to go on him when he has his Flame Guard on, he's going to have to cop a lot of damage from the creep wave, which is not something you want to do, especially when he doesn't have his bottle just quite yet. Now that both players have their bottle, it becomes a game of who can hit 6 faster and then get that kill, or a play to get a kill pre-6. A lot of this comes down to using regen effectively and knowing when to your hero. We see CCnC pick up some more regen before boots, despite the modest lost advantage he has. He gets caught with the chains and is forced back to boots. Skipping ahead, he's TP'd back to lane, and in the time away, Ember managed to close the gap CS-wise. At level 5, Storm can shove the wave very quickly, and then fall back to the jungle to attempt to gain a CS or level advantage, while still staying safe and forcing the Ember to stay in the middle lane, as his creep wave will be attacking his tower. Storm once again gets caught with chains, but Ember misses the triple remnant and Storm survives, even being able to turn it back around after a kill from a bottle TP in from the Spectre and a nuke. With bottle crowing nerfed, we see both players utilizing their teammates' TPs to refill their bottles if they don't have root control. It's effectively a very expensive way to refill your bottle, but it can win you the mid lane. Now that Storm is 6 and has treads, he's going to start making moves around the map. While we see the win stage has gone fairly even, with CCnC eking out a slight advantage in CS and levels, here is where we want to start seeing the issues of OpTic's drafts, and where CCnC movements start to fall apart a little bit. Aside from Storm Pole, both Venge and Jakiro's stuns are dodgeable, so finding a lane to gank is going to be a challenge, and we see CCnC struggle with it while he has low mana pool and low mana regen. The movement that he makes bottom around the 9-minute mark is entirely wasted time, as it's unlikely that Spectre would have died had he not been there, and he burns the shrine, misses the 10-minute rune, and ends up out of mana after making the kill because of target selection issues. At about 11 minutes, he's still ahead of Ember, but considering how his other lanes are going, he should be further ahead. We see this smoke up to abuse the strength of the Brew ult and his dominance in the top lane. Well, they do end up making a good rotation, and CCnC is able to clear through the jungle on his way back, making sure that he's not wasting time. Once he arrives in the mid lane, he kills a bit of time warming around. I think this is not actually his fault. Instead, his team rolling the smoke up behind him, but instead they just mistimed it, so CCnC had to burn a little bit of time here. We see OpTic smoke up behind him, and finally take the mid tier 1. Well, OpTic does end up winning, and as we will see, Dota Plus favored their draft at about 20%. The landing stage for CCnC was good, but not great. Unfortunately, a lot of what it came down to is that CCnC struggled knowing when to stay passive and when to farm. That kill switch, knowing that moment where he can go from just passive farming to a free kill on the enemy mid laner, he didn't seem to exhibit a lot this game, even getting caught out a couple of times with the chains and nearly dying himself. A lot of this, I think, has to do with the fact that his lineup for OpTic was fairly passive, and it forced a lot of pressure to go onto the Storm in order to make those plays. None of this is to say that CCnC played poorly. He ended the game 6-0, and as the game went on, he found a lot of pickups for his team, played well on global, and even though his build was ended up being delayed by having to go Yules against the Silencer, he still managed to get pretty good farm. The difficulty comes when knowing when you can kill and when you can't, and we saw a couple of times here where he made the correct choice and then ended up not quite getting the kill, or made the incorrect choice and ended up burning a shit ton of time. It's very important to remember that just because you can kill someone doesn't mean that you should waste your time doing that. Especially at an early level stage, it is very often not that efficient for golden XP wise to be burning all of your health and mana just to get a kill on a support or on a farm mid laner. As boring as it might be, shoving the wave and then going back to jungle is often the best choice that you can make as a mid laner, and we see CCnC do that a couple of times, but he's clearly hesitant to do so. A lot of this might boil down to the team strategy, where in picking a Spectre and a Storm, OpTic feels very comfortable going into the late game, so they're not under any pressure to make kills, and the only way they lose this game, I believe, is for them to throw their advantage more and more.
And now the somebody say, hey, could you pick it up far? But and I am sleep, but I don't. That's so cool. How do you do that? I'm geeking out right now. I could pick it